and so short. Alright, welcome back to another episode of F-Zero Ending It All. Last time, our heroes have actually managed to make it to the championship, but there was a split victory between Rick Wheeler and Black Shadow. Actually, Falcon just bailed the course because there were two dark reactor mites installed the Black Bull, which he used two booster fires which rendered Rick unconscious and imprisoned in Darkstar. Fortunately, he was rescued with the help of his friends, along with Rodney Stewart. So, this is going to be like a breather chapter. And, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Alright, let's get this over with. Lap 16. Clank invited Rick and Tinsel to the Falcon house. He said he had something very special he wanted to show them, particularly to a certain someone who had slept for 150 years. While Gazelle was cleaning up the place and Bert was setting up the diner for more patrons, Rick received a photo of his last race at the Big Apple tournament inside a diary from Clank. So this must be your girlfriend Haruka. But why was this in Alias's home? At some point, Clank knew Alias and became close friends. Both Rick and Tinsel were shocked he was the same kid that was about to receive heart surgery, and the same one that received the stolen medication from Goro and his thugs on the first day she even met Rick. But before all that, as well as prior to Clank's father being killed, Alias showed the young geek an ancient golden journal from a secret room which, according to him, housed many strange things. The book contained some secret info involving Haruka. Alias's mom said it was related to you, so she wanted you to have them. Perhaps Alias was Haruka's grandson? It can't be! Haruka said she never had any relatives. She and Alias don't seem to have the same last name. Sounds coincidental. Haruka. His mind drifted for a while until Clank said he offered to take a peek. Hey, this is Rick's business. This was made from 150 years ago. Same time period he had lost. It wouldn't be right if you were to snoop into it. Didn't you know that a journal is private? I was the one who found this diary. Let me check. I'm afraid she's right, Clank. It's best if we take it with a grain of salt. We should mind our own business. But Ruka looks a lot like Miss Killer. We know. Rick already knew. Ever since he saw her kindred spirit after his mind was restored. He just got up and went, nearly bumping into the janitorial robot. He must have a lot to think about after finding this. I sure hope he'll feel better in time. Maybe it'll give some more insight on what happened after he was put into cold sleep. She eventually exited after breakfast. The Dragonbird was still in the parking slot, and Rick was deeply enamored. She briefly glanced at him, then she walked to the Silver Comet. Tinsel? Rick called to her and he wondered if he could share his findings with her. Sure, okay. You really want to do this? I'm positive. You helped me deal with the scars I've had and saved me from Dark Million twice. I really owe you a lot, Tinsel. Come, we can both start reading this at Memory Park. She followed Rick's vehicle to the designated area. The field was looking over the clear river and the Brooklyn Bridge. He said it was where he was going to propose to Haruka. He spent most of his time there just reflecting the moments he spent with her. On a bench, they sat. He removed the slab and looked inside. The writing was almost like chicken scratches, but in plain English. As Rick read, Haruka started with a person named Rose. She happened to be a close friend. The blonde introduced her to Rick during a race. Haruka said it was destiny that'll bring them together. So it was destiny that led me to her. At that time I didn't win any races. I was only an amateur. He said she and he first met while he was starting out. At one time he lost royally and he was so furious that he slammed his own Formula One helmet on the ground with a worn-down garage. Haruka marched in and held it up. Hearing the stilettos, he opened his eyes. You? Yes, it's me. Don't give up. Haruka kept giving him advice and encouragement since she too had a gift on racing, and little by little they began to bond. Tinsel recalled they used to compete each other, but not during tournaments. Just then a flood of memories entered his mind, from the day on a peaceful balmy cruise to his victory during the New York Cup. He remembered it strongly as he gained the upper hand while his opponents gave way as they ran out of fuel. He crossed the finish line first, and he leapt out of the race car as Haruka met him. You did it! The crowd was going wild as they embraced each other. If you want to look this up, by the way, just take a look on YouTube and you'll see the English dub in lap 8. A few hours later, the couple were sitting at a table overlooking the gleaming city. 2 fine glasses of red wine were laid. You were amazing out there today, Rick. Thanks, Haruka. One more win and you'll be the top winner of the year. We'll see. There are a lot of great racers out there, Haruka. My luck can't hold up forever. It's not luck, Rick. You're the hardest working driver in the circuit. You deserve to be number 1. It's no wonder since she's been with him day in and day out. He was always maintaining his car and practicing tirelessly to keep the gears in check, and beating his personal best times. Thanks. That means a lot. Everybody feels the same way I do. I couldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't for your encouragement, Haruka. This was mostly true since she was the one who was always at his corner with win or lose. She was not only like a supporter to him, but also his topmost rival, giving him some pointers. That's sweet. Haruka, winning the championship would be great, but I got my sights set on a much more important prize. Then his heart hurt a little as he recalled the walk down to the jewelry store. It was close to a cinema, and Haruka just saw a window sill of a mannequin hand showing a ring with a delicate diamond shining from it. She suggested it would make the perfect gift, whether Rick qualifies or not. He assented it and they walked off. Late that night, just as the outlet was closing up, he bought it and had been wanting to save it for a very special occasion. At that time, I was going to propose to her after the championship. Until Haruka was standing at the same spot where Rick and Tinsel are. She was very curious in why he asked her to stay there. After waiting a couple hours, she wondered, where could he be? Once again, you can look it up in Lap 1 Remastered, Episode 1. It's from Rovanami, by the way. Rick, are you playing hard to get? I'm sorry, Haruka. I'll be right there. The signal went dead and her face disappeared. We got cut off. Well, no problem. Took out his ring and stared at its magnificent luster. This will make up for it. Attention all units! Attention all units! Suspect 7162413 is driving a brown sedan heading for the Brooklyn Bridge. Got a call from the precinct. Described a man as armed and dangerous. He just escaped from a nearby maximum security prison, and putting the details together, Rick had a picture of a crazed inmate who looked as if he'd busted out of a nut house. I can't believe it! That's Soda! Semi-automatic stuck out of the window and he kept looking back till he saw Rick. Soda, you're insane! I wouldn't be so sure about that! You're the crazy one if you try to catch me! They soared through a ramp, and after about 5 minutes he finally had enough. Rick's skills as a professional racer was barely futile. You win the door prize! After a sharp turn to the right, he maniacally kept shooting at his own door. By the time the hinges were destroyed, he kicked at it with such force that he sent it flying. It was heading straight towards Rick's windshield just as soon as he made it. Through the hairpin corner, Rick nearly lost control. Then by the time he looked up, he was frozen stiff. He couldn't anticipate what was flying directly at him. His face was covered with shards of lethal glass, as was his body, while the debris rained on top of him. He was unable to stop the runaway cruiser. Then he had a brief glimpse of Haruka. Suddenly sunk into total darkness. I didn't expect it to end this way. Since that night, I'd lost everything. Tinsel leaned into him. You didn't lose everything. Don't say that. Remember when you first met Jody and Dr. Stewart? The nurse was watching over him as just minutes after he came to. She escorted him to a white room. It was from there where he met the high-flying medico and his associate. We still have the clothes you wore before you were put into cold sleep, Rick. But I think you'll find these a bit more up-to-date. There were two stacks. One to the left had Rick's green t-shirt and denim coat nicely folded on the table. There was also the velvet case consisting of the engagement ring he left behind, as well as brown sneakers. The one to the right, as the doc referred to, also had some folded clothing, with a red tee accompanied with a white necking, some boots, and crimson pants. My name is Jody Summer. I'm the leader of the Elite Mobile Task Force of the Galaxy Police. I'm glad you're back. Dr. Stewart said it was touch and go for a while. How do you feel? Made a self-examination, very surprised his wounds were completely healed and had no pain or stiffness. I'm okay. He went over to the counter and opened up the ring box. He stared at it for a few moments before that dream entered his mind when he was planning to slide that ring on Haruka's right finger. Rick, wait! You took the wrong clothes with you! Rick, where are you going? I gotta go see somebody. He took off the white underclothes and dressed into his old attire. As soon as he was done, he followed the narrow hall to a spacious room, which showed a perfect view of his own future. Ah! Where am I? The infrastructure was absolutely different from what he was used to. The roads were more confusing as they intertwined with each other. There was way more traffic down below. Even the cars had changed drastically. The buildings were 3 times taller and looked more bizarre. He immediately kept following the passageway as he continued. No! It can't be true! It was then he realized he was in cryo-hibernation for the last century and a half. Plus, this place was currently known as Mute City rather than New York. I soon began to realize 150 years had passed. Nothing was ever the same again. I had a lot to endure. I still couldn't believe Haruka transformed into an abomination before my very eyes. I saw her that evening as clear as the brightest star. You can look it up in Lap 8, by the way. His mind went back to that night when he met Sophia, who was believed to be hunted down by Dark Million. She was later known as Miss Killer, also known as Lunar Rider, and she was sent by Black Shadow to slay Rick, since he was the one who kept stealing his chances on retaining the prize money. Rick was on this PC, frustrated in how he to contact headquarters until she snuck in from behind. Would you tell me her name? That struck a warm chord in him. Her name is Haruka. Just as soon as he said it, his chest had a deep, sharp pain, and his throat closed up completely. The air passages were blocked. I can't breathe. Fell on all fours. Good. The spell is working. What spell? The spell that will destroy you. She tossed off her clothing, revealing a suit of armor complete with a chest plate, shoulder pads, and leggings. You sealed your fate when you said the name. She even took a shiny dagger that gleamed in the dim light. You witch! Ah! He dove out of the way before Luna made her mark. He held on to the mattress, then leapt away, leaving her to stab another blank. Rink was growing weaker by the second, and he was using a metallic drawer for support, but its weight and dissipating strength caused both of them to topple over. Don't move. Now you'll be with your darling forever. Although there's a slight twist, unlike Lap 8. She drew it for his heart, and Rick grimaced and looked away, his eyes laid upon the fallen velvet case where the engagement ring was. It shimmered, and for a moment they both stopped. Rick stared in the eyes of Miss Killer as she struggled to drive the dagger through him. Even as he held her arm at bay, he wanted to believe there was just an ounce of good in her. With his last ounce of energy, Rick managed to toss Luna back. She landed on her hands and gazed at her suffocating target. His vision was fading, and so was his life force, while he grew more blanch. Rick! Rick! From the commotion, Tinsel followed into his apartment. The first thing she saw was him laying lifelessly on the floor. Then there was the mysterious deadly dame with whom she saw jump through the large window. She landed on the roof of the Sonic Phantom, and they raced off into the darkness. Tinsel ran to her fallen friend and tried to revive him after she hurriedly put a pillow beneath his damp head. Something else happened that she didn't know about. Rick! Rick! As he thought he was dead, he heard a familiar, cheery voice call for him. Then he saw a light at the end of a tunnel. He shielded his eyes after he went to it. It grew brighter until he was immersed into paradise. Beautiful clouds surrounded him and beneath him. The air was calm and pleasant, and the sun shined gently on his skin. There was Haruka. Haruka? I'm so glad to see you after all these years. Rick, it's not your time. He was at a loss for words after hearing it. It was as if his heart dropped and shattered. He waited for the last century and a half to be reunited with his long-lost love. And now this? Don't worry, Rick. I will always stay with you. Just remember that I'll be watching over you like I did before you slept. I promise. I'll see you again when the time comes. From that moment on, he knew that Luna wasn't exactly Haruka at all, even though she had a similar resemblance, and the engagement ring was proof. By morning, he was looking out through a large broken window, admiring the fact that she would always be deep within his heart. Thanks for looking out for me, and for this. That was a heartwarming feeling for Rick, knowing there was someone who loved him both living and dead, and that she was correct that Tinsel needed him, because quite frankly, he needed her too. That was when he also remembered what Haruka told him. The woman before him was actually a falsity wearing the skin of a woman he once knew. So he continued to look through the diary, and he came across the Dark Age, even for her. The worn pages described Haruka still waiting faithfully for Rick at Memory Park during the sunset. Where are you, Rick? Unfortunately, she got the answer on herself from a close friend, Rose. They were taken to the ER, and she said they had to hurry in order for her to see him. She introduced Haruka to the guard of room 3. She was desperate, and he said they'd already started. Haruka rushed in and saw Rick inside. His body was completely covered in lethal lacerations, to the point where the medics were doubtful on his survival. He was also encased in ice and frost. Haruka said it was the last time she ever saw him. Oh, I'm so sorry. He continued on. Rick, you'll be awakened in a new world, but I won't be there. So, he couldn't finish. He dropped the diary in his lap, which slipped to the concrete. Tinsel managed to pick it up, and she read the rest for him, barely making the lettering out. Much like Rick, even Haruka wanted to have revenge over Zoda. According to Rose, there was a trap of the East Bank set for him. There was a reward for Zoda's capture just as soon as after Rick was killed somewhat. There wasn't any news about the incident. It was as silent as that time when the task force went missing. Rose kept an instant freezing device inside and warned the director. Rose told her not to do anything stupid. A day later, the employer spotted him in a large covered van heading toward it. The place was empty except for him and several thugs. Small robots appeared then, were shooting with ice beams in the freezing facility. Then Haruka stepped in with a pistol drawn, yet she couldn't shoot him. She hesitated as it kept reminding her of Rick's tragic death, or so it seemed. Soda was arrested and banned to Planet Alcatraz, where he was in permanent cold sleep. Then so was Haruka after her own accident. The date of the death was when she was in cryo-hibernation. Rose said Haruka stopped being a racing queen after Rick was in limbo, and Tinsel recalled him saying she was only 21 at that time. Lastly, Rose wrote that she disappeared the night before and never returned. Then that was when she left her last thoughts and feelings behind. Since then, as Rick would get out of cold sleep, he'll have this diary. And that was the last thing they both wanted. That was the last of it. During the rite 150 years later, Soda went first, then Haruka was resurrected by Black Shadow. Tinsel wondered if Luna had to be killed. She recalled that after Rick woke up after the formula was inserted, he said that Haruka won't find peace unless Black Shadow's defeated, not just Soda. Because she had a dark aura as she was pursuing the psychotic, the demon exploited that from her empty vessel. There may never be a reversal. By the mid-afternoon, as he finished reading Haruka's diary, Falcon went up to the duo. He asked if they were ready to fight Black Shadow and rescue Jody and Dr. Stewart. They blushed, and he suggested to Tinsel that she should give Rick her own reactor might, as he may need it against him. Or rather, Deathborn. Upon the theory, Tinsel's face dropped. Deathborn? It was Deathborn? No! No way in hell! You defeated him! And we only saw Black Shadow! Let me explain. Due to his keen eyesight and memory, he noticed the silhouette was somewhat different, and half of Black Shadow's face was showing a skull after he was blinded and scorched by Rick's hidden strength and his own reactor might. It was actually a deformed Black Shadow, yet he only had a glimpse when the trio escaped with their own vehicles in the Falcon Flyer. The bounty hunter heard the same voice, but from that stunning sight, he put two and two together. He stated that he was the one responsible for everything, including brainwashing Tinsel and the task force. What are you talking about? You mean it was him this whole time? Precisely. She sunk back onto the bench. She was pale and barely breathing. Rick tried to comfort her, still perplexed in what he just heard. So it wasn't Black Shadow after all. But who is he? He was still calm, and he let it all out to his closest friend. We first saw Deathborn at the first Mute City Grand Prix last year. Tinsel and I won, and we saw Black Shadow get electrocuted, then disappear when we saw him. He described him as a cyborg of sorts, a dark violet helmet and a long large cape. He was about 8 feet tall, and he was covered in elaborate armor. Falcon said he, Tinsel, and duelists were the first people to witness the murderous pilot personally. He was known as the champion of the underworld since he won the dark half of the championship belt, while Falcon won the lighter half. He defeated Deathborn within 3 fatal laps on his own course. It was fortunate he was never seen again, even though the meddling spirits said it was their best creation, until recently. That was what I saw when I touched the belt at your watchtower. Deathborn, that track. But how can he still be alive? No one can survive after their machine has been incinerated in lava. There's more to it, Rick. He unveiled about the horrific accident during the final challenge in the Grand Prix 13 years ago. At first it was rumored to be Pico. Everyone was wrong. They thought the culprit was Black Shadow, him included. Unfortunately, the Galaxy Police mentioned that several pilots hadn't actually died, but rather have gone missing, including the original owners of both Roger and Drax's machines. They were missing? Then that means Roger and Drax can never find ownership for the Hurricane and Typhoon. Falcon continued saying that Deathborn has died 3 times, and each time he had his body parts replaced with mechanical ones, making him immortal. He believed it was the creators that kept repeating the enduring process. He wasn't sure if he would be gone for good this time, since he defeated his compatriots. They also installed a device that allowed Deathborn to travel freely through space. That means he can mysteriously appear and disappear without any life form knowing it, and he tends to exile anyone he despises into the vast reaches of the universe, making them as vagabonds that drift throughout eternity. Even worse is that he plans to destroy the universe by centering it instantly. Rick heard him talk about it, but utilizing the power of the combined belt. He's the one who commands the Dark Schneider. It's also known as the Wings of Darkness. They glared at Captain Falcon, dreading the future knowledge they were about to gain. It has a brutal exterior, powerful boosting, and a menacing defense system. For him, poor handling is hardly an issue. It was coveted enough that foolish souls tried to steal it. They instead found themselves stabbed with several poisonous needles. I assure you, this menace is not a joke. He is leagues above Black Shadow. It is absolutely important that you are completely focused and in control before you confront him. But we only saw the Black Bull during the championship. You're not making any sense. I think what he was trying to say is Deathborn was Black Shadow in disguise, so he could race in the overworld, and the Federation wouldn't suspect him. It's possible he owns both the Bull and the Schneider since he dies supposedly. Deathborn's way worse than Black Shadow. Who knows where he could be now? Come down, Tinsel. That bastard. I left Jody and Doctor at his mercy. He was the one who controlled my friends, won the race, and used Haruka's empty vessel. I gotta stop him! He stormed from the bench, but Falcon prevented him from progressing further. Rick! Is that what you really want? To choose death and approach the situation without a proper plan? You can't beat him. Not like this. Trust me. You don't want to be slewed or tainted over, do you? If you make any attempt to kill him now, you will only be removing his only obstacle, yourself. I got to stop Deathborn at all costs. I mustn't let him dominate the entire universe and keep enslaving everyone. But I can't do this alone, Falcon. I need your help. In that case, I've come to a decision. Rick, you must bring the Dragon Bird to headquarters. What for? Lucy, Clank, and Gazelle put all their mechanical skills to the test. After exactly 24 exhausting hours, the Dragon Bird received one final upgrade to house both Rick's and Tinsel's mites, since the Blue Falcon can only hold one. He alerted Rick his car is finally ready, and when he entered the garage, he was ecstatic. Some sections had golden decals upon its hood, and it's been enlarged. Tinsel followed suit, and she gave a quick reading. She was surprised its stats are coincidentally the same as her Silver Comet after it received an enhancement by the Big Fang. Thanks to the addition of a second reactor mite, its boost is greater, though its strength remained the same. Its grip had decreased, combined with an already sturdy hull, making it even rivaling the champion's own craft. Since he was the one doing the most of the work tirelessly, Clank declared it as the Dragon Bird EX. I would highly recommend you give it a thorough test drive before using it as a weapon to vanquish Deathborn. I will. Thank you, everyone. It was our pleasure, Rick. Dr. Clash would have wanted it. It definitely has really cool when Falcon brought it up. We should rest while Rick trains. Yeah, I really appreciate what you guys have done. I can't wait to test it out. It's too bad I don't have the booster fire anymore. Does that mean I can't help you win over Deathborn? I almost did before. She remembered activating her secret weapon. She borrowed it from Yugi, which is the blue ice white dragon. There were 3 of them, actually. They evolved into the ultimate dragon, then the shining dragon. Like I said, if you've seen Falcon's followers, you should know this. You may not have made your move on Deathborn, but you can still help us, and the duelists may pitch in as well. How, Falcon? How can amateurs like us stand up to him? Well, you have a strong bond with Rick, so your efforts can be of some assistance, especially if he should fall under temptation. We'll try and see if we can find a way to revive Tanaka and Rodney. But until then, we need to formulate a plan. With all three of the light reactor mites, we'll be able to withstand the darker equivalences. Should I bring the other pilots? Jack, Leon, and Clank? They would be supportive. However, I'm not certain about Bert Lemming due to his constitution. He may be of help if he were to revive Jody's deeper memories. Rick, you must stay alert. I know you've just unlocked the secrets involving Haruka, but you must stay sharp as you train with the new Dragon Bird and test your skills once we get to Darkstar. Is that understood? Of course. You may stay here for now. I must head back to base and see what the Falcon flare has picked up from the enemy's stronghold. I'm leaving my fate in your hands. No problem, Falcon. Rick, Tinsel, Gazelle, Clank, and Lucy witnessed him leave. Throughout the remainder of the day, he practiced as hard as he could with the other pilots at the old Kingly course. Although Tinsel had this risky intake on taking on all the courses from that portion of the Grand Prix, excepting Tortoise 3. They agreed and Rick managed to win every single one. At last he was able to return home. It was around 10 p.m. and he headed to his flat. Before having some proper shut-eye, he glanced at the memos once more. He looked at the ring the most, and Tinsel asked what was wrong. Rick put the casing back and explained that Haruka will be his motivation to defeat Deathborn. Tinsel understood, and he thanked her for the practice races she spent with him, as well as sharing the diary his deceased loved one left. As she tucked herself in, he then did something he'd never done before. He prayed. As he bowed his head, folded his hands, closed his eyes, and whispered, Haruka, if you could hear me, please listen. I beg you, watch over us when we deal with Deathborn, Jody, Doctor, and Miss Killer. Please protect us and stay within my heart. I promise. I will conquer Dark Million, help Falcon, and save the universe. For both of us. It was inspired by Lab 36, but I'm so miffed that, A, he had a backstory to Haruka's as well as Rick's past, B, there were some flashbacks that were featured in GP Legend, including the tragedy, and C, it just gives the story more closure, which the American version sorely lacked. It was shown as reactor might that Zoda recollected the fact that Haruka was there with him at the bank. However, she didn't destroy him after she sworn to do. Said that Zoda was betrayed by her. Did that mean they used to work together at one point? Was there something that went bad resulting in Rick's demise? Was Haruka actually willing to serve with Zoda? That's really unsettling. Couldn't believe the anime ruined Deathborn's prowess. If you've seen the anime, I was very pissed about it. Black Shadow actually has shown him, Don Chaney, and Deathborn all in one villain. Either that or they were just puppets. But I would much, much, much rather prefer the role reversal from F-Zero GX. Even though Black Shadow was technically a lackey, but hey, I love to hate these guys. Was all resentment aside, it was very astounding that the Dragonbird EX has the exact same stats as the Silver Comet. It was definitely a coincidence, as I saw the stats after I made the upgrade to Tinsel's machine, and I never had a chance to use the EX personally. They never released Climax at international shores until I looked it up. The concept of Blue Eye Shining Dragon was an idea I had after I saw the Pyramid of Light. I don't remember much, but back then I was able to make it to the 8th chapter in story mode. I owned a card displaying that monster, then I soon gave it away. It was undoubtedly the most spectacular dual monster I've ever seen, even more than Ra or Exodia. I should think. Vibration for editing. And the secret's been unveiled that the real big bad is Black Shadow, but it was actually Deathborn in disguise. After going down heart-wrenching memory lane, Rick, Tinsel, and Falcon prepared to make their last stand against Dark Million. Alright. Once again, if you want to see the flashbacks, you should check out YouTube and the English dubs of F-Zero Episode 1 and F-Zero Episode 8. So, this is Econ Writer signing out.